Am I an activist? No, never really thought so. Activist to me was always one of those people who canvassed, handed out pamphlets on the sidewalk. To me, an activist was the person who zealously watched C-SPAN, knew all the names of all the dudes in every district, someone who volunteered at the polling places. An activist was someone who yelled at you when you bought the wrong brand of pickles at the store because you didn't know that the farms producing the cucumbers for that particular brand of pickle have terrible working conditions for migrant laborers. To me, an activist has always been a person who worked in environmental groups, healthcare advocacy, lobbying nonprofits, social workers, policymakers. These were the activists in my eyes. And these people are my friends and my family. I've learned so much from them. I respect them, and I envy them for their fire. To take action, to rebel, to protest. All that they carry around, that fire that propels a being into action. Honestly, and I hate to admit it, but even the idea of that to me was just so fucking exhausting. Maybe it's because I'm an introvert, or because I'm self-absorbed, or because, I'm anxious. I'm afraid of confrontation. I'm afraid. In any case, it seemed very clear to me that I was not a natural-born activist. And then Trump was elected. When first reading about the Women's March on Washington, I felt a welling up of energy, a flicker of light, a minute reprieve. Not immediately was I able to articulate why, but I knew deeply, bone marrow deep, time travel portal collective consciousness deep. George Eliot, James Baldwin, Ice Cube Neutrino, Buddha, de Beauvoir, Napperstag sleep deep. I had to be there. So here I am. Here we are. In Washington, D.C. with my sister, my niece and nephew, my friends, wedging ourselves onto the metro and its lifts, hoisting ourselves up into a landscape planter by the Air and Space Museum at the corner of Independence and 6th, and witnessing, taking part in, this mind-blowing convergence at our nation's capital.
In the words of my ancestral hero, Sojourner Truth, ain't I a woman?
I'm nasty like the battles my grandmothers fought to get me into that voting booth. I'm nasty.
I will respect the presidency, but I will not respect this president of the United States of America. We can do it if women rise up and take this nation back. One of my best girlfriends confided in me, saying they saved my ass and some other parts too. Get out there and be those voices. Be that change that you want to see in the world. See, she studied the way of water and gills. She is a mermaid. She is an archipelago of shanty towns. She is made of invention and necessity.
Here we all are. Human people in real life. Pokey, feely, breathy, bundled and shivery human people. Marching.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Later, my friend Lyndon would say it was more like a walking meditation. But we march. We march for our mothers, our sisters, our 15-year-old nieces and nephews, for the human race. To express our power, we're not going away. Because we support Planned Parenthood. Because my body is my own sovereign state over which I govern. We march for this earth, for safe drinking water, our right to inhale air that isn't mucked up with toxic air. People gotta breathe. We march for science. We march for equality, unity, peace. For the right to fucking exist, no matter what shade we happen to be. We march for the right to love. We march for a life without fear. Freedom is no fear, says Nina Simone. And we march because every micron, nanometer, angstrom of our beings compelled us to get the fuck to Washington, D.C. and be present. So now, do I think I'm an activist? Fuck yes, I do. Kind of. And while I don't really fit that cliched mold of extremist, radical protester, I do have fire. And I'm wielding it. And there are 500,000 plus fire-bearing witnesses to prove it.